Discovered. A struggling girl's amazing journey causes chaos and wins the CEO's heart. In 30 days, Mia Thompson stood at the edge of the world, or at least her small suburban town, with eyes wide open and heart racing. The cicadas sang their summer songs, a backdrop to her dreams that felt larger than the homes that filled every street. She was 17, a spirited girl with a fire burning inside her, a fire fueled by necessity, grit, and the whispers of her late father's legacy of resilience. Each morning before dawn kissed the sky, she laced up her worn-out sneakers and slipped out of the modest home she shared with her mother, ready to conquer the day's challenges. Her two part-time jobs, waitressing at Mel's Diner and stocking shelves at the grocery store, were more than just responsibilities. They were sacrifices made for the sake of keeping their little household afloat. The smells of greasy burgers and fresh produce mingled as her life revolved around serving coffee and counting crates. Yet beneath the surface of these simple routines, dreams flowed like hidden rivers. Mia longed for something bigger, a way out of the cycle of economic struggle that often felt suffocating. The opportunity of a lifetime knocked on her door when the announcement blared from every corner of town. Carter Innovations was offering a coveted internship. This was it. The place where dreams could explode into reality. The CEO, Ethan Carter, was a figure shrouded in intrigue, privilege wrapped in a cold exterior. He commanded respect and fear in equal measure, a king reigning over his technological kingdom. Mia's heart raced at the thought of stepping into that world, a world where she could prove not just her worth, but her very identity. As she delved into the chaos of tech, Mia faced a reality rife with prejudice. The air was thick with the laughter of her classmates whose families thrived in affluence, their smirks piercing her confidence like thorns. Yet Mia pressed on, feeling the weight of judgment pushing her harder. She juggled spreadsheets and codes, her determination like a match lighting dark corners of doubt. With every triumph, those smiles turned into cautious nods, but beneath them lay layers of skepticism. Then, everything shifted. One fateful afternoon, while organizing documents, she stumbled upon a slip of paper revealing unethical practices at Carter Innovations. A chill coursed through her. This was no mere oversight. The weight of it hung heavy in her chest. Should she stand up for what was right? Or would it mean tearing apart her fledgling connection with Ethan, who, despite his stoic demeanor, seemed to see something in her? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the days spiraled tighter, Mia grappled with feelings for Ethan that grew ever more complex, each shared laugh and fleeting touch igniting a fire within. But could she risk their growing bond to expose the truth? The walls of privilege clashed against the ideals of hard work and integrity. As she wrestled with these thoughts, the uncertainty clawed at her insides. In the heart of that bustling office where ambition soared, Mia found a flicker of hope. Could she challenge the status quo? Yet, as the deadline loomed, an unexpected reveal sent her world spiraling, a final twist that could shake the foundations of her beliefs and the future she had dreamed of. Would she rise to the occasion, or would she falter? The answers hung like thin threads over a cliff, and she took a deep breath, ready to confront the storm ahead, one that might finally forge her path forward. Mia stood frozen in the break room, the weight of the slip of paper still heavy in her trembling hands. Her heart thundered in her chest, each beat a loud reminder of the decision hovering before her like a dark cloud. Could she really risk everything she had worked for to expose a truth that could crumble Carter Innovations? Ethan's face, usually so composed and confident, flashed in her mind. She could still feel the warmth of his smile from yesterday, the spark in their eyes when they spoke about dreams for the future. The ticking clock on the wall felt deafening as her thoughts spiraled. It was more than just her internship on the line, it was a chance to prove herself worthy of the world that felt beyond her reach. But the truth churned inside her, a storm of morals battling against her aspirations. There wasn't a single answer she could cling to. "Ethan," she whispered, half to herself, half in prayer. She thought of the way he encouraged her, pushing her beyond her limits, seeing potential in her that even she doubted. But could the man she admired also be complicit in wrongdoing? The thought felt like ice to her veins. Determined, she took a sharp breath and pinched the paper tightly, reminding herself of all that her father taught her about integrity and standing up for what was right. She could hear his voice echoing her mantra, "Always choose honesty, Mia. It's the only thing that cannot be taken from you." With newfound strength, she shoved the paper into her pocket and decided to confront Ethan the next day. But as she left the break room, a sick feeling brewed in her stomach. What if he denied it? Or worse, what if he turned on her? The thought sent shivers down her spine. The next morning, anxiety twisted in her chest like a vine, and her usual routine felt heavy. Every smile she exchanged with coworkers, every order placed at the diner, seemed shaky and forced. Yet, with every heartbeat, she knew she couldn't stay silent. The deadline for reporting these unethical practices loomed closer, and so did her connection to Ethan. When she finally stepped into his office later that afternoon, the air crackled with tension. He was transfixed on his computer screen, lost in the world of algorithms and strategies that usually seemed so far beyond her reach. "Ethan," she began, her voice wavering slightly but growing firmer, "I need to talk to you about something important." He looked up, his expression unreadable. The world inside his office felt vast and closed off, a stark contrast to the intimate walks in the park they had come to cherish. For a heartbeat, the space between them seemed insurmountable. "What's on your mind, Mia?" he asked, that familiar warmth seeping into his tone, which sent her heart racing once more. Taking a breath, she pulled out the slip of paper, her hands steadying as she placed it on his desk. "It's about Carter Innovations. I found something concerning, something you need to see." Ethan's brows knit together, his gaze shifting to the paper, then back to her, confusion dancing in his emerald eyes. "What is this about?" Mia felt the tension in her chest rise, a knot tightening with uncertainty. Could there be a possibility of betrayal in the gleam of his gaze? The answer felt too close yet out of reach. As silence engulfed the room, nerves shredded at her resolve. Then, just as she prepared herself to dive into the truth, the door swung open. A familiar face entered, disrupting the moment, and a new layer of drama unfolded. "Ethan, we need to discuss the launch plans now," the voice called out. Mia's heart sank. Would she ever find the chance to reveal the truth? Would Ethan even see her loyalty beneath the clutter of his busy life? The chaos around her threatened to snuff out the flicker of hope she'd built up. As she glanced at Ethan, realization washed over her like cold water. The truth was no longer just about ethics or her dreams. It was about connection, his and hers. Would they weather this storm together, or would it expose the cracks in their budding relationship? And with that thought lingering, Mia knew that the next steps would change everything. Mia could feel her heart racing as she stepped back, her mind still tangled in uncertainty. The intercom buzzed, blending with the voices that filtered through the office door. Ethan's attention was now completely diverted. A part of her wanted to turn and leave, to let him handle his business while she whisked away the heavy burden of the truth looming over her. But the other part pushed her feet firmly to the ground. "Just a moment," Ethan said, his voice a baritone of authority, but the way his eyes flickered to her made it clear he hadn't forgotten her. The woman who had burst in was an executive Mia recognized, but didn't know well. It was clear she wasn't going to take no for an answer. "Ethan, we're on a tight schedule. The launch is in 2 weeks and we need a final review," she insisted, her tone sharp and impatient. Mia's heart sank further. Each syllable wedged another doubt into her mind. Was Ethan too caught up in this project to care about what she had discovered? A new wave of anxiety rolled through her, tightening her insides. She couldn't just stand there. The truth was clawing its way out, demanding to be heard. Ethan lifted his hand slightly, signaling the executive to wait. "I'll be there in a minute," he said, his voice soothing, a stark contrast to the tension bubbling inside Mia. She took a step closer, needing to make her voice heard before time slipped away. "Ethan," she said more urgently, catching his gaze. "This is about the company's future. About what you've built." It was slippery ground, appealing to his passion, but desperation lent her strength. He studied her for a moment, a flicker of understanding passing between them before he turned toward the intruder. "I need 2 minutes." "Just 2 minutes," he said firmly. There was a heavy silence as the executive huffed, crossing her arms impatiently, but Mia saw the tension ease just a little in Ethan's posture. "Fine, but don't take long." She left, the door swinging shut behind her with an air of finality. The moment of privacy shifted. Ethan's attention was back on her, and the weight of the conversation hung heavily in the air. "What was on that paper?" he asked, voice low but filled with an urgency that warmed her resolve. Mia took a breath, finally letting go of the tension that had plagued her. "It claims there's financial malpractice happening at Carter Innovations." I didn't know how to bring it up," she admitted, her voice steadying as she laid her cards on the table. His eyes widened slightly. "Financial malpractice? Are you sure?" She nodded, feeling both a spark of relief at being able to share and a surge of fear for what that meant. "I found evidence. It looks like there's been misappropriation of funds in the last 3 projects." Ethan's expression hardened as he processed her words. This could destroy us." "I know," she whispered, the gravity of their shared situation settling between them like a heavy fog. But just as he started to reply, the door creaked open again, the executive's voice slicing through the moment. "Ethan." "Now." This time, she didn't wait for him to respond. Instead, she turned the slip of paper back into her pocket, a determined look flashing in her eyes. "Ethan, you need to investigate this. Please." He nodded slowly, determination hardening his features. "I will. I promise." As he stood up and headed toward the door, Mia felt a wave of hope wash over her. But beneath it was a simmering dread. In placing her trust in him, would he stand by her? Or would the truth tear them apart? Stepping back into the flow of the office, Mia could sense that everything was about to change. The stakes were raised, relationships would be tested, and she had no idea how deep this rabbit hole truly went. With that thought echoing in her mind, she walked away, her heart now torn between the truth she'd uncovered and the connection she had with Ethan. Would love survive in a world entangled with secrets? Mia strolled through the bustling office with her heart still pounding in her chest. The usual sounds of keyboards clacking and phones ringing felt muted compared to the whirlwind of thoughts racing through her mind. She glanced back at Ethan, who was now seamlessly blending back into his role as CEO, his strong posture betraying none of the storm brewing beneath the surface. Was she a fool to get involved? What if the paper she found didn't hold the weight of her suspicions? She leaned against the wall, steadying herself as doubt crept in. The office around her was a fortress of ambition and pressure. The clock was ticking down to the launch, and every second wasted could mean disaster. "Hey, are you okay?" A familiar voice cut through her haze. Jasmine, her close friend and co-worker, approached, her brow furrowed with concern. Mia forced a smile, but it felt like a mask. "Just a lot on my mind." "You sure?" "You're looking a bit pale," Jasmine said, tilting her head, her bright eyes searching Mia's. "I'll be fine. Just need to handle some things." Jasmine's gaze flickered toward Ethan before focusing back on Mia. "You know I've got your back. Whatever it is, you can tell me." Mia opened her mouth to respond, but the weight of her secret felt too heavy to share. What if Jasmine viewed her differently? After a few moments of silence, she shook her head. "I promise, it's nothing I can't manage." "All right," said Jasmine, a hint of skepticism lingering in her voice. "Just don't shut me out, okay?" As her friend walked away, Mia stared at her retreating figure, feeling the tug of guilt. Could she really handle this alone? Deep down, she knew the answer, no. But what choice did she have? If she shared the truth about the financial malpractice, it could take them all down. Including Ethan, With a shaky breath, she stepped toward her desk, intent on burying herself in work. But the paper in her pocket felt like lead. She glanced at the clock. Only minutes had passed since Ethan had left her. Would he even realize the gravity of what she'd told him? Suddenly, the phone rang, jolting her from her thoughts. Clutching it tightly, she answered. Mia here. Mia, can you come into the conference room? We need to go over logistics for the launch. Ethan's voice came through, smooth and commanding. Sure, I'll be right there, she replied, trying to steady her breath. Walking into the conference room, she found a tense atmosphere. The executive from earlier was pacing, her phone glued to her ear while Ethan stood by the window, his back to her. He turned slightly, their eyes meeting for a brief moment that sent electric chills down her spine. There was so much unsaid in that gaze. Mia, we need to strategize on the press release, Ethan said, redirecting his focus to the table and its strewn papers. She nodded, fully aware that the weight of their shared secret was lurking just beneath the surface, waiting for the opportune moment to break free. The discussion flowed around her, but her mind drifted back to the turmoil within. Her feelings for Ethan were growing deeper, but could she trust him enough to share everything? Was love even possible in the shadow of such deceit? As the meeting wore on, the tension thickened. She could see Ethan's thoughts racing as he swung between high-powered decisions and his underlying concern for the company. When the meeting wound down, Ethan caught her eye again, lingering for an agonizing moment before he returned to his notes. Each time their gazes met, her resolve weakened. Can we talk? Mia finally blurted out as they all began to leave, her heart pounding. Ethan looked around the others who were filtering out, then nodded slowly. Yeah, just give me a minute. As the last of the team cleared out, Mia's heart thudded painfully against her ribcage. She took a deep breath, determined to meet this moment head-on. When Ethan approached, she could see a storm of emotions warring behind his calm exterior. What's on your mind? He asked, his voice low and earnest. I need you to know, there's more to what we discussed earlier. Something I've been holding back. Ethan's eyes widened in a mix of concern and curiosity. What are you saying, Mia? The words hovered between them, heavy with the potential to alter everything. In that moment, she knew whatever happened next would be pivotal. Would she reveal the full depth of the truth? Outside, a storm began to brew, echoing the chaos in her heart. As the rain began to patter against the windows, Mia would soon find out whether pouring her secrets out would bring them closer or shatter everything they'd built. Was she brave enough to take that leap? Would their connection survive the revelation? Mia's breath caught in her throat at Ethan's inquiry. She fought against the weight of her fear, the longing for honesty tangled with the hope that their growing feelings could survive the truth. She could feel the tension in the room where the clock ticked loudly, each second underscoring her hesitation. Ethan, it's about the financials, she began, her voice trembling like the raindrops drumming against the window. I found something disturbing. I'm not sure how to say this, but our budgeting reports might be manipulated. Ethan's expression shifted, all warmth draining from his face as he stepped back, bracing himself against the table. What do you mean? Are you sure? I'm certain. I found discrepancies that can't just be overlooked. It looks like someone's been cooking the books, she explained, swallowing hard around the lump in her throat. If this gets out. His fingers clenched into fists on the table. Who? I don't know. That's why I hesitated. I thought I could find out more before jumping to conclusions. Mia's heart raced as she watched Ethan's expression morph into determination. We have to address this now. If it's as serious as you say, the launch could be at risk. We need to pull together a plan to investigate. Wait, she interrupted, urgency in her voice. You can't make this public yet. It might create panic. We have to tread carefully. Are you suggesting we sweep this under the rug? His voice rose, and she could see a flicker of anger mixed with fear. No, I'm saying we need to be strategic. If we leak this prematurely, it could ruin us, ruin you. In that moment, silence blanketed the room, their gazes locked in an unyielding battle. Ethan seemed to wrestle with a torrent of emotions. The vulnerability of truth slipped through the air, heavy and electric. I need you to trust me, Mia. We'll find a way to manage this without causing chaos. His voice softened, a hint of the concern he felt breaking through the pressure. You came to me about this for a reason. You trust me. His words wrapped around her heart, giving her the reassurance she desperately sought. I do. It's just what? He pressed, a frown creasing his brow. Her knees felt weak, every inch of her wanting to reach out and touch him in that moment. I don't want to lose you, Ethan. Whatever happens next. He stepped closer, closing the gap between them, and she could feel the heat radiating off him. You're not losing me. I promise. We'll face this together. Before she could respond, a clatter at the door made them both jump. Philip, one of the other executives, burst in, a feverish look in his eyes. Did you hear? There's a rumor going around the offices about the launch. People are worried. Mia and Ethan exchanged alarmed glances. This is why we need to handle this now, Ethan said, turning back to Mia. If word gets out before we have a plan, it could be catastrophic. As they sprang into action, adrenaline surged through Mia's veins. They laid the groundwork for a strategy, exchanging urgency with ingenuity. Yet, even in the chaos, her feelings for Ethan flickered brighter. The bond they formed in that moment felt powerful. Let's make a list of all the team members who had access to those reports, he said, grabbing a pen and paper. We will narrow down who could be behind this. Agreed, she replied, already jotting down notes. But in the back of her mind, a swirl of concerns rumbled. Could they really prevent disaster? The rain poured harder outside, an unyielding rhythm that matched her racing heart. What would happen when they unveiled the truth? Would Ethan still stand beside her then? Mia stole a glance at him, focused, committed, but unaware of the swirling storm in her heart. This was bigger than either of them, and soon they would be thrust into a world of unraveling lies and difficult choices. Mia, he said, his voice breaking through her thoughts. Are you ready for this? She looked deep into his eyes, searching for answers that were yet undefined. The weight of the moment pressed down on her. Yes, but I need to know we're in this. Together. Their hands brushed against each other, the connection sending sparks down her arm. As they prepared to tackle the storm ahead, one question loomed. Were they truly ready for what lay beneath the surface? Before she could catch her breath, a loud crash outside signaled that the chaos they feared had just rolled in. What would their next move be? Mia's heart raced, echoing the loud crash that jarred her from her thoughts. She and Ethan exchanged a quick glance, their expressions a mix of surprise and anxiety. The sound had shattered their fragile moment and ushered in a wave of tension that couldn't be ignored. Philip, did you? Ethan started, turning to the executive, but Philip was already moving towards the door, urgency replacing contemplation in his eyes. What was that? Philip asked, stepping outside to peek around the corner. He poked his head back in, anxiety etched across his face. It sounded like it came from the storage area. I'll check it out. Mia, stay here, Ethan ordered, his protective instinct kicking in as he limited distractions. No. I want to go with you, she insisted, adrenaline spiking through her. Mia, we need to stay focused, he said, his eyes narrowing with concern. We can't afford to chase shadows right now. She resisted the urge to argue, knowing the critical nature of their situation. However, in that moment, what bubbled beneath the surface felt just as dangerous as the chaos outside. We can't ignore what's happening. What if this ties back to the discrepancies? Fine, he relented, voice steadying. Let's grab that flashlight and go. But stay close. With her heart pounding like a drum, Mia followed Ethan out into the dimly lit hallway. The rain rattled against the windows, drowning any calm the office might have offered before. The storage area was just a few doors down, cluttered with old furniture and boxes, evidence of a disorganized back end of the company. The moment they reached the door, Ethan paused, his ear tuned to the muffled voices spilling from within. I'll kick it open, he whispered, steeling himself. Before she could respond, he flung the door open. The sight that greeted them was shocking. A small group of employees huddled together, their whispers silenced as they turned to face Mia and Ethan, caught in the act of frantically reviewing documents marked with the very reports Mia had flagged earlier. "What are you doing?" Mia demanded, stepping into the room. One of the employees, a junior analyst named Sarah, looked petrified. We were just don't lie." Ethan interjected, his voice sharp as he stepped into the room, authoritative and commanding. The tension thickened around them, every pair of eyes filled with fear. Mia's breath hitched as she felt the weight of this moment, two worlds colliding, with everything they feared hanging in the balance. "This isn't about you getting in trouble. We need to talk about what's going on with the financials, with the reports." Fingers fidgeted, the air thickening with expectation. Then, from the corner, Mark, an older employee, chimed in. "We're trying to find out if there's any truth to what's rumored." Everyone's scared. Ethan aimed his focus on Mark, but Mia could see how deeply the fear affected everyone. "You need to understand panic isn't the answer. We have to work together to fix this." Sarah stepped closer, her voice trembling. "Then help us find the truth. We can't let whoever is behind this get away." In that moment, Mia felt the collective weight, the desire for honesty, for resolution. It was just like what she felt for Ethan. If they didn't pull together, their shared future would crumble. Ethan's glare softened as he faced Mia. "What do we do?" he asked, the uncertainty in his tone striking her like a chord of vulnerability. "What we must," she replied, her voice steadying with purpose. "We unite. We need to uncover the truth together, and we have to do it carefully." Nods of agreement flooded the room, an unspoken pact forming among them. As they strategized, something inside Mia shifted. The fear was there, but so was hope, an unyielding drive to see things through. This wasn't just about the company anymore. It was about the people they worked with and the trust they shared. Yet, amid the urgency, another thought lingered. What would happen when the truth was revealed? Ethan brushed against her, sending a warmth that intertwined with the cold reality outside. Their eyes met momentarily, a connection laden with questions about the next steps, and something yet unspoken flickered in that gaze. Just then, a loud crash echoed once again from the outside of the office. This time, it felt deeper, more ominous. They needed a plan, and quickly. If chaos was knocking at their door, would their unity be strong enough to withstand the storm? Mia took a deep breath. "We can face this together, right?" Ethan didn't hesitate. "Absolutely. But first, we need to understand what we're up against." She nodded, determination settling in her chest. The pivotal moment awaited them, but what lay beyond that door could change everything. Seconds later, a breaking news alert pinged on Ethan's phone. Were they about to find out more than they bargained for? Ethan's phone buzzed again, drawing their attention to the screen illuminated with urgent news. Mia leaned in, her heart racing. The headline flashed, "Massive fraud investigation launched at leading firm." The storm of panic swelled into her chest as she absorbed the implications. "What? This can't be happening," Sarah murmured, glancing back at the others in the room who wore expressions of disbelief mixed with dread. Ethan quickly scanned the article. "This is about us. They must be onto something big." His voice hovered between panic and determination, reflecting the urgent mood that thickened the air. "Did someone talk?" Mia wondered aloud, her mind racing with the possibilities. Mark shook his head. "No one should. We've kept this quiet." "Yet here we are," Ethan said, setting his phone down with a shake of his head. "We need to be cautious. If they're investigating, we'll be caught in the crossfire." Mia's mind spun. This was the moment they had been preparing for, yet it felt like everything was slipping through their fingers. "What about the reports we just found?" she pressed. "They could be the key to understanding what's really happening." "They could also put us in danger," Ethan replied, his eyes darkening with concern. Sarah stepped forward, conviction sliding into her voice. "If we don't act now, we might lose our chance to prove we're innocent. We have to find out who's behind this. That's the only way we clear our names." Mark nodded. "We can't let fear paralyze us. We've waited too long for answers. We have to take the risk." Mia felt heartened by the shifting emotions in the room. Their adrenaline morphed into a shared resolve, and she saw determination etched on Ethan's face as well. "All right, we'll need a plan. Something solid," Mia said, urgency sharpening her tone. "We can either hide and wait for this to blow over, or we fight back. What do we want to do?" Ethan moved to stand next to her, nodding slowly as the others began to murmur in agreement. "We can investigate together. We'll split up. Each of us can go to different departments, check in with coworkers, see if anyone has noticed anything suspicious. But we need to be discreet," Mia cautioned. "If someone else watching us, we can't afford to make it obvious that we're gathering intel." It was a risky move, but they had no choice. It was the only way they could stay a step ahead of whoever might be watching. "Okay," Ethan said with a newfound edge in his voice. "Let us get moving. And remember, trust no one." As they dispersed, a flurry of resolve filled Mia's heart, but uncertainty also crept in. Each step felt like treading on fragile ground, and she could feel the weight of what lay ahead. What if they uncovered something unthinkable? Just as she turned to follow Ethan, her phone buzzed. An unknown number. Tentatively, she answered. "Hello? Mia? You need to listen," the voice on the other end hissed, urgency saturating each syllable. "There's something I need to tell you about the reports. It's bigger than you think." Panic surged through her as she exchanged a frantic glance with Ethan. "What do you mean?" But the line went dead before she could hear more, leaving her standing in a swirl of confusion and fear. Ethan caught her eye, brows furrowed with concern. "What happened?" Taking a deep breath, Mia offered a shaky smile, trying to mask the gravity of the situation. "I think we're in deep and someone knows more than they're letting on." With no choice but to confront the escalating chaos, they regrouped, each one feeling the pressure mount. After one chaotic leap into the unknown, Mia realized the next truth. This was only the beginning. What would they find when they uncovered the secrets buried within their company? Mia's heart raced as she gripped her phone tighter, feeling the urgency of the call linger in the air. "We need to figure out what that was about." "Ethan, do you think it's someone we know?" she asked, glancing around as though revealing a conspiracy just by saying it aloud. Ethan's jaw clenched, his eyes narrowing. "We have to get to the bottom of this fast. Let us stick to the plan. We need to gather information quietly." The others nodded, their expressions a mix of determination and uncertainty. They had crossed a line, and now they were tangled in a web spun by ambition and deceit. As Mia moved toward the finance department, a flicker of unease washed over her. This endeavor felt charged with danger. Had one of their own betrayed them? The thought gnawed at her, tightening her chest. Inside the department, the hum of office chatter faded as she approached her coworker, Jake. He had been with the company for years, and his loyalty had always been unquestionable. "Hey, do you have a minute?" Mia asked, forcing a casual tone. She didn't want to betray the weight on her heart. "Sure, what's up?" Jake replied, looking up from his computer, a hint of concern etching his brow. Mia shifted her weight. "Have you heard anything about an investigation?" There are rumors going around." Jake cocked his head, eyes narrowing, but he leaned in closer. "Honestly, I've heard some whispers. Just between us, people are worried about those reports. They don't want to get caught up in something." Her stomach flipped at his words. "Why didn't you say anything before?" "Mia, it's not easy to bring things like that up. You know how the atmosphere is around here." His voice trailed off, and Mia felt the heaviness of his loyalty pulling him back. Just then, Ethan's voice rang through her mind. "Trust no one." Had she misjudged Jake? "What about the audits?" She pressed. "Has anything seemed off to you?" "Honestly, it's all been too perfect," he replied, fidgeting with a pen. "We all know nothing comes without strings attached. But I don't want to get into trouble, Mia. Just be careful." Mia felt a sinking sense of urgency. Time was running out. She needed more than intuition. They needed hard evidence. With the voice still echoing in her mind, "It's bigger than you think," she couldn't shake the feeling that they were mere pawns in a larger game. After thanking Jake, Mia stepped out of the office, the weight of the conversation pulling her deeper into contemplation. She spotted Ethan down the hall, his phone pressed to his ear, brow furrowed in concentration. "Mia, over here," he said, waving her over. I think I might be found something, she began, but Ethan held up a hand, signaling for her to wait. He ended the call abruptly and looked at her, his expression shifting as he focused on something behind her. Did you hear that? He whispered, his eyes widening, heart thumping wildly. Mia turned to see a figure standing at a distance, shadowed and watching. The familiar outline sent a wave of dread washing over her. It was Graham, their boss. He seldom spent time in this part of the office. What is he doing here? Mia murmured, eyes darting around for an escape route. Ethan's gaze hardened. I don't know, but we need to leave. Now. Mia felt the electric thrill of panic surging through her as they ducked back the way they had come. Questions raced in her head. Could he sense their fear? Was he already on to them? Just as they rounded the corner, Mia's phone buzzed again, a message flashing across the screen from an unknown number. Meet me. I know what you're searching for. Mia's heart skipped a beat. Who is this? And could they really trust this unknown ally? Or was it yet another trap? As they hurried into the stairwell, the stakes rose even higher. Each step echoed the swift countdown toward whatever awaited them at the bottom. Would they uncover the truth together, or would it tear them apart? Sweat trickled down Mia's back as she and Ethan hurried down the dimly lit stairwell, the air thick with tension. Each echoing footstep felt like a countdown to an unavoidable confrontation. The message on Mia's phone replayed in her mind like a haunting refrain. Meet me. I know what you're searching for. But the urge to seek answers quickly clashed with the instinct to run. What do you think we should do? Mia whispered, glancing at Ethan, who appeared more alert than ever. His eyes darted toward the exit, fingers twitching at his side, a mix of adrenaline and fear igniting the air between them. We can't stay here. Graham could follow us. But that message, it could be a lifeline or a trap. He paused, catching his breath. We have to take a chance. If they know something, we need to find out what. Mia swallowed hard, adrenaline coursing through her with each heartbeat. The walls felt like they were closing in, but she was determined. We can't just ignore it. Maybe they can help us understand what's really going on. Right. But we need to be smart about it, he replied, steeling himself. Let us get out of here first and find a safe place to talk. They pushed through the door to the ground floor, bleary-eyed and skittish. The bustling office environment was a stark contrast to the silent stairwell. People moved about innocently, unaware of the storm brewing just beneath the surface. Mia's phone buzzed again, causing her heart to race. She glanced at the screen, breath hitching in her throat. It's from the same number, she said, scrambling to open the text. They want to meet in the cafe around the corner. Ethan's expression turned serious. Okay, we head there, but keep your guard up. No flashy moves, just in and out. An uneasy agreement settled between them. Together they slipped out of the building into the cool outside air. The city sounds buzzed around them, a stark reminder of the normalcy they were both craving but no longer could reach. With every step toward the cafe, Mia felt the weight of her decisions pressing on her. Was this a reckless choice or a necessary leap of faith? They arrived at the cafe and perched at the back, pretending to peruse the menu while scanning the room for their mysterious contact. As she perched on the edge of her seat, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching them. Her eyes searched every face, every corner, but nothing seemed off, until she spotted a woman in a black hoodie, sipping coffee slowly, her eyes lifted, locked on Mia. Is that her? Ethan asked quietly, tilting his head toward the woman. I don't know, Mia replied, feeling hesitation ripple through her. What if it's a trap? That's a chance we have to take. Let us get closer, but be cautious. We can't let our guard down. Heart pounding, they approached the table. The woman looked up as they neared, her expression unreadable. Are you Mia? She asked, her voice barely more than a whisper. Mia hesitated, then nodded. Yes. You sent the message? The woman nodded subtly, her eyes narrowing. We don't have much time. There are eyes everywhere. You need to know your search has already put you in danger. Mia felt cold tendrils of fear creep up her spine. Danger? From whom? From people you work with. They're not who you think they are, she said, her tone urgent. I can help, but you have to trust me. Before she could finish, the cafe door swung open with a loud chime, and Mia's breath caught in her throat. There, stepping inside confidently, was Graham, scanning the room with sharp, predatory eyes. "What is this?" Ethan hissed, instinctively placing himself between Mia and Graham. Mia felt the world spinning. Was this the moment everything unraveled? The tension was palpable. They were caught in a web of lies, yet the truth was just within reach. Graham's gaze landed on them, widening as he stepped forward, determination etched on his face. "Mia, there you are. We need to talk." As panic set in, Mia realized the stakes were higher than ever. Could they pull away from this disaster, or was it too late? The woman in the hoodie leaned closer, urgency in her voice. "If we don't move now, it's over." Mia's heart raced. Would she leave with this stranger, potentially risking everything? Or stand her ground against her boss, armed only with uncertainty? As the space between them compressed with danger, the choice loomed. Would she step into the unknown or confront the man who loomed large in her world? Mia's heart raced as she made her decision. This was no ordinary choice. This was her future hanging in the balance. The confrontation with Graham felt suffocating, like standing on the edge of a cliff, peering into the abyss beneath. Her instincts screamed at her to flee, but something stronger pulled her to fight, her father's voice echoing in her mind, forever reminding her of the power of truth. "Stay back, Ethan," she commanded, her voice steady despite the whirlwind inside her. "I need to face him." Ethan's eyes widened, pleading in their depths, but she shook her head. "I can't let this go. Not now." Graham approached, feigning concern but broadcasting authority. "Mia, you're making a mistake. You don't want to get involved in matters beyond your understanding." The words felt like ice, threatening to freeze the courage she mustered. But she stood firm, refusing to be shaken. "No, you're the one who's wrong, Graham. I won't let you drag us into your mess anymore." The shock on his face ignited a spark of defiance within her. The cafe buzz fell silent as nearby patrons turned to witness the showdown. For a moment, Mia felt invisible, but the weight of them watching only fortified her resolve. "You may think you have the upper hand, but behind your facade, the truth will come to light," she continued, meeting his gaze. Graham sneered, the corner of his mouth twitching with irritation. "You think you can threaten me? There are greater stakes at play." Just then, the woman in the hoodie spoke up, cutting through the tension. "Graham, this isn't about threat. It's about honesty." Mia shot her a grateful glance. "Honesty?" Graham laughed, a chilling sound. "Nobody cares about honesty in business. It's all about power and profit." Mia felt her blood boil. "But real strength comes from integrity. You can't keep this up forever." For a split second, Mia could see cracks in Graham's confidence as he turned away, assessing the risk of being outed in front of witnesses. Before he could regain control of the narrative, Ethan stepped forward, determined. "We know what you've done, Graham. And we're not backing down. Let us help you resolve this the right way, or we will go public." As resilience surged through her, Mia felt a weight lifting. The support from Ethan and the woman beside her solidified their bond, a collective strength against the approaching storm. Graham's demeanor shifted, anger receding into a calculated calm. "You really think you can take me down? I own this place. Everyone here is under my thumb," he spat, glancing around at the gathering crowd. Mia took a deep breath, finding clarity. "But what you don't own is the truth. And it's only a matter of time before that gets exposed. You're cornered, Graham. Either meet us with honesty, or prepare for the consequences." Ethan's hand found hers, a grounding force as they stood united, defiance shimmering in the air. The woman beside them nodded in agreement, adding, "We can help each other." Graham weighed their words, tension rippling through him, clouding his judgment. Suddenly, it appeared he was trapped by his own schemes. "This isn't over," he hissed, but didn't he take a step closer, his words filled with threats, but grounding itself in hesitation. There was doubt in his posture, fear lingering as he backed away slowly, the crowd reopening the space between them. As the weight of the moment settled, Mia realized they had taken an important step, a pivotal stand together. "Walk away," she said firmly, crossing her arms defiantly. "While you still can." With a huff of disbelief, Graham finally pivoted away, retreating back through the cafe's doors with a simmering air of chaos left in his wake. The room erupted with murmurs, a shockwave of anticipation dancing throughout. Mia glanced at Ethan, surprised by the tremor of excitement in his eyes. They had faced the darkness together and emerged into the light. There was hope. "Did we just do that?" Ethan asked incredulously, relief washing over his features. Mia nodded, heart swelling. "Yes, we did. It's just the beginning." They turned to the woman in the hoodie, who gave an approving nod. "What us next?" she asked, eyes sparkling with determination. "We go after the evidence," Mia said, a fire igniting within her once more. "Let us find the truth behind the reports. We need everyone's help. Call whoever you trust." "We could reach out to others," Ethan added, tracing a comforting hand along Mia's back. "This could be the change we need." Mia felt the weight of the world beginning to shift. In their determination to uncover the truth, they could pave a new path, a future free of lies. With newfound confidence, she turned to the group watching them. An alliance began to form, not just against injustice, but also for a vision of transparency and accountability. "Together, we can make a difference," she declared, heart racing as applause erupted among those who had witnessed the confrontation. In that moment, she realized that each truth they exposed could lead to a better world for her and her colleagues, a future anchored in integrity, where hard work and merit would shine through. As they gathered their resolve, Mia felt an unwavering certainty that her journey had only just begun. In finding her voice and standing for what was right, she had discovered not only her strength, but also a powerful community bound together in the fight for justice. With a nod to Ethan, the path ahead shimmered with possibility. They stepped out of the cafe into the vibrant, chaotic world, ready to embrace whatever came next. And as the sun broke through the clouds, Mia Thompson understood one essential truth: courage, connections, and authenticity could transform the world around her. It was just the beginning of a promising chapter about unity and resilience. Now, the call to action was clear. This was the moment she had to spread the word. With heart pounding, she announced to those gathered around, "Make your voices heard. Don't let fear win." The truth was out. Now, everyone had to get involved. And with that, the journey toward a brighter future was just getting started. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more amazing viewers. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now. Don't wait not even one more second to share.